So I'm going to delete this. Just back to my plan view and back to the windows. Okay, so when you want to draw a window, you guys know what the sill height is and what that means in a drawing? Sill height of a window? Yeah? Just the bottom height? Okay. Yeah, so how high it is from the floor is the sill height, and then you guys have a head height. That is the distance between the floor and top of the window. So when you are drawing a window, you can just draw that in and manually select your window and say, okay, my sill height, I want it to be 600, and then it will go up that much, as you can see here, or if it's a meter, and that's there. You could also move things around manually, or with typing in the numbers in an elevation view or a 3D view. But you could also go to your edit type and then through here give it a default sill height. So let's say the default is, just to give it a number, 2.5 meters. And then now when I'm placing, so that is a type element that I've changed. So now that when I place windows on my plan, they should all show up. Yeah, the reason you can't see them here is because they're too high. High as in elevation. Okay, I changed that to 200. And then I'll start putting my windows in. They're too low now, but I can draw them. Go to the 3, you can see it is drawing them there. So when you're drawing a window, it will ask you what is the level you're putting in. So it's on the level 1. What is the sill height? And then based on the window type, you may have some more information here. This is the head height, so the dimension between the floor and the top of the window. And again, so when you edit type, you can change things based on how you think they should be. Windows are families, so you can't change them as easy as a wall type. You need to draw them in a family edit mode, which we'll cover later in the course. But some basic things that you can change are shown here for you in the type properties menu. So you can change some of the material. You can also change some of the dimensions, like what the height of it, what's the width of it, what's the sill height, the inset, and all that kind of thing. That's for the wall. Doors are very similar. So yeah, so when I want to put a door in, again, I can edit my type. Very similar to a window. I can change what type I want to draw. I can select that. I'll just put it in. I can just place it somewhere in the drawing and then see that. So just remembering that I was talking about the windows. So anything I've been working on, the 3D and the plan are now open in 2 windows. If one of them is open by Control Tab, I can go between them. Control Shift Tab, I can go backwards between them. And then WT will just tile all the windows that I have. Let's say I've got a bunch of different windows open and I want to see all of them at once. I'll just do WT on my keyboard and I can see all of them tiled. I can still maximize them, just flip through by Control Tab or Control Shift Tab and see them all. Okay, talking about the floors and the roofs now. Back to drawing the floors. I think I covered most of it. There is not a lot to show, but same thing as when you're drawing a wall, you have different options for how you want to draw the line. You can draw the lines, you can draw rectangles, different shapes, circles, arcs, chamfers, fillets, splines that are curvatures. You can also select your walls or select your lines on the drawing, and then when you have some floor drawn, which I'll just select the one that I've already drawn, can change the type, how thick that is, and what's the structures of it, and then edit the types similar to what we said, so it's more similar to a wall system. And then you can edit the structure, what's the center core, what's the exterior or top finish, and what's the bottom finish. By selecting each of them, you can move them up and down and give them different information. You can always preview them in plan view or in a section view. Anyways, not a plan view because it's a floor, and that makes sense. There are some more detailed elements of how to put a point on the floor and move it up and down, and as you can see in this image, make it a bit more irregular, but I will show you this in the next class. But for now, these are the basics of drawing a floor. The roofs are a little bit more challenging to draw because of the slopes you may want to give them. I'll just go back to my 3 view, and I'll delete the roof that I have, and I'm pretty much going to repeat what I did previously when I was showing you guys how to attach a wall to the top and talk about how to draw a roof. Okay, so when you're drawing a roof, you must have a level that you're drawing it on. It is giving me this notice that you have created the roof on the lowest level, which I don't want to do. So would you like to move it to level 2? Yes, for sure, that makes sense. I'll put it on level 2, and then I'll start drawing. Again, same tools for drawing it. I'll just go select my lines, but before doing that, I want to say I don't want any of the lines to define a slope, so no angles, all flat, but I want the whole thing to be offsetted from my buildings by, to start, 600. And then I'll go there, I'll just press tab to go select all the walls, click. You can see these are all, again, I'm pressing escape to come out of this select line tool mode. And then when I'm selecting that, it's giving me the 600 that is measured from the center of the wall to there. I can also manually change these and extend them out if needed. Or I can even add holes in it or something if I wanted to, like that. And this is a flat wall, so in the 3 view, it always asks you if you want to attach your walls to this roof. You will figure it out. If you say yes, it will connect the walls to it, but a lot of times it creates more problems for you than solving issues, so I always say no and just manually connect them to the top, because this is pretty simple. In a more complicated project, you may destroy a lot of things. So this is a flat wall, offset it and drawn based on the lines I've defined for it. I can select my roof, double click on it to go to the edit mode, or if I don't do the double click, I have it selected, I go edit footprint. It will give me all the lines that I have in my drawings. I can define slopes on them, so selecting one of them, I will define a slope. I would give it a dimension or an angle of the slope. I can say 20 degrees, or I can also type in 4 to 12. I don't know if you guys have heard about like these typical slope roof dimensions, like 4 to 12, 6 to 12, 8 to 12, and based on imperial measurements, meaning that if you have a foot tall or 12 inches tall or 12 inches wide roof, and you want the slope to go up 4 inches through that 12 slope, it's a 4 to 12, and you can put that in. It will just translate that into a degree or an angle, and then we'll put it in. So for now, I'm just going to be metric. I'll just put in the 20 degrees for that one single line. So that triangle shows that this line has a slope defined for it. I'll just say finish. Now you can see this flat roof is on a slope. Just go undo and just want to give yes to this guy. So you guys can see now all the walls are attached to the roof, but because it may cause you a lot of troubles if your model is complicated, don't say yes, because it may attach things to it that you don't want to be attached. Again, just an example of how the tab will work. If you want to select something and it's difficult, by pressing the tab, it will give you all the different options you may have on the area your mouse is showing. That's how the roof works. The last thing before the break, I want to go back to the walls and show you how to edit a profile. So when you have a wall selected in the modify tool, it shows you how to attach to the top, or you can detach it from the top. So you will click on detach to the top, you will select the thing you want to detach it from, it will detach it for you like that. And then you can edit your profile, meaning that it will give you this view on the wall. It's always good to see it in elevation view, but for now I'm just gonna stay here in my 3D view, and just you can easily draw a wall profile for it, and then your wall will be drawn in the fashion you wanted it to be.